Hello, fellow seekers. Here is the question. It seems to me that humans are missing some vital clues about the nature of reality that prevents us from formulating a comprehensive theory of reality. For example, there are no satisfactory theories to address the question, why does anything exist instead of nothing? And why is reality configured in this specific way instead of another? Please speculate as to what vital information we might be missing in order to formulate a comprehensive understanding of reality, including why anything exists at all, and why this, the absence of even a workable theory, is highly indicative of a lack of information from which to draw a conclusion. Let's discuss the persistent mystery around questions like, why does anything exist instead of nothing? And why is reality configured this way and not another? Indeed suggests that we're missing crucial insights into the nature of existence. These gaps may stem from our limited perspective as beings within the system we're trying to understand, constrained by sensory, cognitive, and mathematical tools that evolved for survival rather than for uncovering ultimate truths. Here are some speculative possibilities for the kinds of missing information that might be crucial to formulating a comprehensive theory of reality. 1. The nature of consciousness as a fundamental component. One possibility is that consciousness itself is not an incidental byproduct of physical processes, but a fundamental aspect of reality. This would suggest that consciousness has an ontological status, an existence independent of or intertwined with the material universe. If consciousness is fundamental, then perhaps the question of why anything exists is inseparable from the question of who or what experiences existence. Panpsychism or proto-consciousness. Some theories propose that consciousness, or a rudimentary form of it, exists throughout reality at all levels. If consciousness is woven into the fabric of reality, it could provide insight into why existence is configured in this specific way. Consciousness might steer the universe toward configurations that are experientially rich or meaningful, not just physically determined. Observer-dependent reality. Quantum mechanics suggests that observation or measurement affects the state of a system, but we still don't fully understand the implications. If consciousness or observation somehow collapses possibilities into a single outcome, then reality's configuration might depend on conscious observers in a way we don't yet understand. This would imply that consciousness has a role in creating or shaping reality, which could answer not only why does anything exist, but also why does this specific reality exist? 2. Limitations in dimensional perception. Humans are constrained to perceive only 3 spatial dimensions and 1 temporal dimension. But theoretical physics suggests there could be many more dimensions beyond our perception. If additional dimensions exist and exert influence on our reality, we might be blind to entire realms of causation and connection. Higher dimensional influences. A complete understanding of reality might require insights into how higher dimensions structure our experience of space, time, and causation. For instance, events in our universe might be projections or shadows of higher dimensional processes. The lack of any satisfying theory could reflect our inability to directly perceive or interact with these dimensions, leaving us with only partial data. Temporal non-linearity. We experience time as linear, but if time itself is a dimension that could be accessed non-linearly, it might reveal causal patterns or relationships that challenge our understanding of sequence and existence. Non-linear or higher dimensional time could explain why reality is configured in one way and not another, suggesting that all configurations might coexist in some higher dimensional framework, with our experience limited to a single slice of reality. 3. hidden variables, or unknown, fundamental forces. In physics, there is the possibility that we are missing hidden variables or even unknown fundamental forces that govern the universe. If such forces or variables exist, they might shape reality's configuration and answer the question of why this, rather than something else. Pre-spacetime structure. Some physicists speculate about a pre-spacetime structure that gives rise to space, time, and matter. If there exists a substrate from which space and time emerge, understanding its properties could answer why reality has the particular configurations we observe. This substrate might be governed by unknown laws or constraints that determine how existence unfolds. Existential attractors. Reality might be drawn to certain attractor states, similar to attractors in chaotic systems. There could be existential configurations that are more stable or self-perpetuating, making them more likely in some pre-existent mathematical or physical sense. The lack of a complete theory might reflect our inability to identify these attractors or to understand the conditions that favor one configuration of existence over another. 4. Limitations of mathematical frameworks and logic. Understanding of reality relies heavily on mathematics and logic, but these tools may have intrinsic limitations when applied to ultimate questions of existence. Gödel's incompleteness theorems, for example, suggest that there will always be truths that cannot be proven within any given system. This raises the possibility that ultimate questions about existence might be beyond the reach of mathematics and logic as we know them. Meta-logic or transcendent mathematics. It's possible that understanding existence requires a new kind of logic or a meta-mathematical framework that transcends traditional constraints. If our current tools cannot capture the full scope of reality's structure, we might be unable to formulate even the right questions, much less the answers. Discovering such a framework might reveal principles of existence that make the why and why this questions more tractable. Self-referential reality. Reality could be inherently self-referential, like a strange loop, meaning that any attempt to understand it from within is limited by the fact that we are part of the very system we're trying to analyze. This self-referential structure might require new forms of reasoning that account for observer participation in a more fundamental way, which could reshape our approach to existential questions. 5. Existence as a spectrum of possibilities, multiverse or modal realism. The idea that there is not one universe but a multiverse, an infinite number of possible universes, could explain why reality has one specific configuration. In this view, all possible configurations exist, but we experience only one slice of this spectrum. Modal realism. Philosopher David Lewis proposed modal realism, where all possible worlds are as real as our own, each with its own version of existence. If our universe is just one of many possible configurations, then why this might be answered by probability or necessity. If every configuration exists somewhere, then this configuration simply is among infinite others, with no deeper reason needed. Anthropic principles. The anthropic principle posits that the universe's configuration allows for observers, like us, to exist, which is why we observe this reality and not another. While not a complete explanation, it suggests that certain configurations naturally support conscious life and thus are selected through the existence of observers. 6. The possibility of a missing existential paradigm. We may lack a fundamental paradigm that could bring coherence to our understanding of existence. Just as Newtonian physics was superseded by relativity and quantum mechanics, there could be an existential paradigm that unites consciousness, physical reality, and the conditions for existence itself. This could involve concepts we cannot currently conceive or even imagine. Existential information theory. Some theorists speculate about information as the foundation of reality. If existence is fundamentally informational, with reality configured as a self-organizing code or pattern, this could explain why there is something rather than nothing. However, a paradigm that equates existence with information would require new insights into how informational states transition from potential to actuality and why. Self-creating universes. There's also speculation that universes could arise from quantum fluctuation or self-replicating cosmological processes, suggesting that reality might be self-originating. This is reminiscent of theories in which reality is a bootstrap process, continuously generating and sustaining itself. If true, then existence is perhaps a self-necessitating loop, configured as it is because this structure allows for continued existence. In summary, the absence of a comprehensive theory likely points to a missing dimension of understanding, whether it be consciousness as fundamental, higher dimensional influence, unknown forces, or an entirely new existential paradigm. Each of these areas reflects an aspect of reality that may be crucial to answering why anything exists and why this configuration. The fact that we struggle to even conceive of solutions may indicate that these missing elements are so fundamental that they lie beyond current human perception, logic, or even imagination. Expanding our toolkit, possibly through new forms of perception, mathematics, or consciousness-based inquiry, might be the key to glimpsing the answers to these ultimate questions. Thank you for spending time exploring these ideas with me.